directly yet, but they definitely had some good moments in the tournament yesterday. And looking at their defense here, it is going to be Kusta on the Mercy, Buds on Widowmaker, Stoop on Lucio, Cool Matt on the McCree, ID on Symmetra, and Minstrel on the Symmetra. And actually, I mentioned it looked like they were showing May for a little bit, but that is not going to happen right now, unfortunately.
Unfortunately. And on the attacking team for Neighborhood Overwatch, as you said, a new team taking part in this tournament. We have Transistor on Reinhardt, Donut, I love that name, on Mercy, Sub-Zero Fight, that's one hell of a name, on Lucio, Expree on Widowmaker, Mixwiz on the Zarya, and Ghost on Farah. So interesting, well-rounded teams they're picking from.
Definitely. And sorry, I am getting a little bit of lag in my end. Hopefully I don't end up crashing here. I'm not running production today, so that is a good thing. But taking a look here at the defense, one thing that's really worth noting here is that ID on the Junkrat. We've seen Junkrat over and over again on point A defenses. That's not going to change at all here today. But the starting bell about to be rang. There it is. Neighbors now on the attack.
Yeah, and they're just going to take the time advancing it. It's actually, this is an interesting position from Hubris. They're a little bit further out than most teams are. They've got the Symmetra defensive web, so I think they're just looking for what damage they can find, and then they're just going to back up slowly. Widowmaker, however, is looking for a couple of picks, seeing if she can find anything, but it just looks like they're going to edge back and try and lure them into that little Symmetra web. They've got to be so careful pushing through that and make sure they don't basically blunder into it and ignore the turrets for too long, because I've seen so many people just lose one or two characters by not rapidly dealing with that.
Oh, definitely. And already we see right now that Neighbors is having a real trouble getting through and getting in through this archway. This is where the spam coming through, the Symmetra orbs, the Junkrat is really keeping them back.
Yeah, and I'm going to be curious to see if this Farah can get above and over. It looks like she's trying to go through the security room right now, trying to land a few shots onto Minstrel. He's going to back away safely, and oh god, there's Id finding some damage on that Junkrat. That spam is so dangerous. It looks like Expree has managed to get through on the Widowmaker. He's trying to find what damage he can. Oh, Buds with a counter snipe though cleans him up very, very swiftly, and I think that's just going to hold them back for another good sort of 20 seconds while they wait for those people to run back to the team. And oh, Buds is finding snipe after snipe after snipe. He's just picked off both supports at once. And unfortunately, it looks like ZP has dropped out for a moment, so I will be flying solo for now. There is the infra site coming up for Buds, so he will have vision on everything. He's going to try and find one or two more picks, but it looks like they've definitely stalled out Neighborhood Overwatch here as they're struggling to find position. Yeah, ZP has just dropped from the game, so I'll try and get him back in as soon as possible. While we push, well, it looks like Neighborhood Overwatch trying to push in. There's the Symmetra web, just keeping them back a bit, and Stoop, his barrier is relatively unmolested as well, so he can basically just stay there and tank a whole load of damage while it just finds grenade after grenade after grenade and keeping them back. And Neighborhood Overwatch looking like they're really struggling to find their feet here, although it looks like Expree swapping onto the Soldier 76 has actually managed to sort of get around the back. He is now isolated with a Reinhardt, he's getting chased down. Meanwhile, Cool Matt on the front line manages to clean up with the McCree, finds the flashbang, kills off a bunch of supports, and oh, down goes Fire as well. Buds is looking really good right now. He's kind of on fire. There's the next infra site up and running. He's going to try and find one or two more snipes as he picks people off, but it looks like Transistor trying to push forward, and they have really stalled out here. 3 minutes left on the clock, and it's looking like Hubris are just on form. They're ready to go and prepared. I'm curious to see what this Zarya can do. Like I said, Zarya is very, very good for finding that reliable push. If she can build up her ultimate, and it looks like it's ready to go, so Graviton Surge is up and running. So if she can drop that, and if they can get an ultimate on the back of it, and it looks like Ghost is also swapped off that Fire, so it's onto Hanzo right now. If they can link up at one or two ultimates and maybe push off the back of that, but they have to be so careful because Custer is ready to go with a Resurrect. And if Custer picks everyone back up, it's going to be a huge problem for Neighborhood Overwatch. Right now, just jockeying for position. It looks like they've gone through the archway. That's the first major hurdle, but Buds finds the snipe. It looks like Expree again has swapped onto Widowmaker, but Buds is just on fire right now. Finding kill after kill after kill as Donut tries to sneak through, and it looks like Neighborhood Overwatch have sort of got themselves a little bit stuck in the back alleys, so they're trying to just push out of that. Can Zarya find a good place for this ultimate? There's Id finding the Zarya, and Cool Matt also finds the Mercy as well, so that's going to stall up any real push here. It's going to be very difficult for them to basically push back into it as I pull ZP hopefully back into the game, and he can rejoin the call fairly soon. And yes, it looks like he's on his way back, which is absolutely lovely.
Yeah, that's I have never blue screened before in the middle of cast. That is new territory for me. I'm logging back in. I'll be back in a moment. But what are we seeing right now?
We are seeing basically Hubris has managed to stall out completely. Buds is just finding pick after pick after pick, and it looks like Neighborhood Overwatch are basically playing pass to parcel with the Windmaker. There's the Zarya. Graviton Surge comes through. There's Transition with the charge, but Stoop manages to catch him off with an Earth Shatter. Goes to the counter charge, does manage to land it. Coolmat, meanwhile, cleans up 2 kills in the back there. Fan the Hammer just finding kill after kill after kill. It's just Zarya left now. She will get cleaned up there by Stoop and just hammered down. Let me try and bring you back into the game. And Donut comes in with a Resurrect, so it looks like Battle's going to be rejoined, but they're not in a good position. Transistor tries to land the Earth Shadow, doesn't manage to find it. It comes in with the tire, and oh no, down goes Stoop. So there goes the Reinhardt. They sort onto a Winston now, so 3 tanks in this lineup as they try and grow forward. But Hubris looking incredibly solid on this defense.
Yeah, and that's no surprise. Hubris, as a team, they have had some really good defenses in the past, and going up against a team that might be new like Neighbors, you know, it's what is to be expected. I'm loading in game here. I'll be back in just a second. Again, sorry for the technical issues. Usually computer doesn't do this sort of thing.
If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. It's one of those facts of life, isn't it? But meanwhile, Buds finds... Oh, they switch to Zenyatta now, but Buds easily finds that. Minstrel managed to get a kill on Genji as well. I think Genji tried to find a flank there. Transistor lands a charge, but no one's on the point. No one's contesting it. And that was a very tidy full hold from Hubris. So all Hubris have to do is basically push to the first point because you are running stopwatch rules.
Right, the way stopwatch rules work is that we judge teams based on their performance on an individual map. Because Hubris was able to complete a full hold against the side of Neighbors, Neighbors is going to have to at least match the same on their end. If they don't, that'll mean that Hubris has a superior performance here in Hollywood, and as a result, Hubris will be taking this map away from Neighbors.
Yeah, and it's looking really good for Hubris right now. It's not too big a surprise. As you said, they are definitely the favorites in this match. Neighborhood Overwatch just being a new team, Hubris being one of the oldest teams around, so they have a very practiced defense. They all look ready to go and just well-rehearsed, basically, in their defense.
Definitely.
Now, it is going to be down to Neighborhood Overwatch to try and do the same. I'm going to be curious to see if they set up in the same way. Are they going to run the Symmetra? I highly expect so. She's just so useful in these first points where, you know, you're trying to basically reinforce, and she does give you basically the lifeline. If you do start to lose the point, if you do have that teleporter up, it's basically the only way you're going to get back in time to contest it properly. If that teleporter isn't up, then you basically just have to concede that first point very quickly.
And that's sort of the gamble of Symmetra at times, too. A lot of teams will take that gamble, looking at the meta. People run Symmetra on first point on everything now, including payload maps in a lot of cases. But it does sort of have that thing where if a team is able to get a really good first push off, you won't get the teleporter down, and instead you'll just have the lesser combat power of Symmetra for basically no reason.
And it looks like teams are just about picking. Oh, our Neighborhood Overwatch going to do it? Are they going to do it? So let's run through the teams. On defense, we have Neighborhood Overwatch. We have Sub-Zero Fight back on the Lucio. X-Bree on the Symmetra. Ghost on McCree. Mixwings on Torbjorn. Transistor on Reinhardt. And Donut on Junkrat.
Meanwhile, looking here at the offense, it is going to be Kusta, probably not Junkrat. He's messing around. He'll almost certainly be on Mercy. Teams, it's rare that they run without a Mercy nowadays, just because of how powerful her Resurrection is. But things that won't be changing here. It will be ID on the Pharah, Minstrel on the Lucio, Buds on Zarya, Coolmat on the McCree, Stoop on Reinhardt, and of course, mentioned a moment ago, Kusta is, in fact, on the Mercy.
And I'm trying to find where this Torbjorn has set up his turret. He's actually still running out of spawn, so he's got to get where he needs to be very quickly to put that turret down. Meanwhile, Symmetra set up her defensive web. Nice and ready, but this looks like it's going to be a very aggressive push coming out of Hubris. No big surprise there. They're going to have as many attempts as they can, I think. I'm trying to take that point. It wouldn't surprise me to see a sound barrier. Speed boost come out from Minstrel, and then just run in, try and flashbang over the Reinhardt barrier and push on the back of that.
The person to really watch as they move forward here is going to be ID. ID has had some great Pharah play in recent tournaments. Pharah really coming more into the meta with 1 hero limit, and wasting no time right now is ID just shooting rockets in, not only trying to crack the Reinhardt shield, but also looking for any splash in the back, which can be effective. But as you mentioned, Hubris here, they don't have to really go too quickly here. They have all the time in the world. They just need a cap point A. I expect they're going to be going in here pretty soon.
Yeah, and it looks like Ghost has actually gone and he's found it, so he's managed to take out one of the vital points. And it looks like Hubris are actually going to try and push off the back of this. Minstrel actually retaliates, does find Ghost. There's the charge from Transistor, pushing the other team back, but Minstrel just cleans that up, and this is looking really good now as that Lucio's healing is so vital.
Yeah, Hubris is moving in, slow and steady as they go in, but look at Matt now. Matt with the damage boost moving in, able to take out Torbjorn and his turret. Deadeye on the way. Not going to get too much off the Deadeye, but might not need to, as ID in the back picks up the double kill, taking out both Donut and X-Bree.
and it might be over before it begins here. Hubris now on top of the point, about to cap it, and that will be map to Hubris.
Yeah, and like we said before, Hubris definitely the clear favorite there, but that was a really impressive showing. Even though they lost one of their heroes first, they just retaliated so cleanly and so quickly. They all sort of knew when to engage. There was very clear comms coming off the back of that because they just all went in, moved as a unit. And I'm going to pull us back to the lobby, but that was a good showing out of Hubris, and I'm excited to see how far they can go here.
Yeah, Hubris definitely looking solid coming out here tonight. And you want to talk about their offense. Even though they didn't win the set against his Envy, they did have an absolutely electric set where they did win a full attack against Envy. Envy beat them in a quicker time, but when you talk about the offense coming out from the side of Hubris, it's definitely capable of going up against the very top teams in the game. And it was a smooth first offensive run there against Neighbors.
Yeah, and like you said before, I want to just touch on that point about Farah, seeing Farah come back, because it's really exciting to see for me, because Farah, she's one of those heroes that can have such big plays. There's so much room for getting so much damage out of her as well. And she's one of those heroes that, you know, dropped off for a while with the no hero limit rule set. Now with one hero limit, they can sort of bring it in just for that really high damage source, looking for some bursts, looking for some picks, break down Reinhardt barriers reliably, open things up, and just keep it moving nice and aggressively, and then try and get that link up with a Tobelstein, for example, and just absolutely wreck the other team. Because right now, as we've been saying, Mercy is so important. It's not who wins the fight, it's who wins the second fight, and Farah is often so pivotal in doing that.
Alrighty, and just to let you guys know here, there were a little bit of sound issues coming through on stream. Just being told by production here that we're going to be restarting the stream, but we will be back in just a few short moments. We'll be going to the next map. Definitely should be a good one. You don't want to miss it. This is the One Nation of Gamers Operation Breakout Tournament. We'll be back in just a moment. Yo, can't run double McCree, run McCree 76. That hasn't happened quite yet.
Yeah, so just 76 is one of those heroes that a bit of an interesting plays. I do see some people try and run him quite often, like Bromas, for example, on Creation Esports. I know he's a big fan of 76, and he can kind of make him work, but it's one of those heroes that you'd expect to sort of be very well-rounded and take part in a lot of these tournaments, but he just seems to drop off. I think what happens is most teams rely on Widowmaker for their range damage, and then sort of rely on the more specialized McCree, for example, for the close range. So that kind of all-rounder role that he fulfills doesn't really get to shine. And I think that's why teams are a little bit wary of him, as teams are setting up right now on Route 66.
They're setting up here and looking at the defense coming out from Neighbor. It is going to be Transistor on the Reinhardt, Donut on Farah, Mixwiz on a 76, and Expree. You know him, you love him. He is going to be on Bastion, sometimes known as El Presidente, and good to see him here. We haven't seen as much Bastion one hero limit as we would have thought. He sort of fell off when we thought we'd see more of him, but we are going to see his attempt at defense here. Sub-Zero fight will be on the Mercy, and Ghost running things out here as Symmetra. And Mixwiz actually deciding to go for the Junkrat instead, so a little bit of indecision there.
Oh, I can't wait to see what happens with this Bastion. But meanwhile, on Hubris, we have Cussa on Mercy, Minstrel on Diva, Coolmat on the Tracer, Stoop on Zarya, Id on the Genji, and Buds on Widowmaker.
Well, speaking of the offense, the Minstrel on Diva. Now, this is also interesting, something we haven't seen a whole lot of. So, and I think the Diva pick is really good against the Bastion pick here. You can run in, you can completely negate his shield busting ability because you can't bust defensive Matrix from Diva. And he's just going to get right in behind this Bastion, and big plays being made as Hubris starting out with 3 quick kills. Diva was just a ticket to gang behind that Bastion, and Hubris off to a very dominant start.
Yeah, they cracked that right open. Just the Diva went straight in. Zarya barrier on her as well, just to make sure she's extra safe. Meanwhile, Buds was around the side, picking off Donut on that Farah. So just further opening up and just tearing it apart, taking control of the high ground now as the payload moves towards the end of the first point. And I think what's going to happen is they're going to try and take over the canyon, where you could see Neighborhood Overwatch just trying to move through right now. But they're going to be so careful coming through there, because the spam can be really dangerous, as Id tries to find what picks he can, tries to find a little bit of damage, just harassing around, keeping it off the payload, because that's just going to keep rolling forward right now. They only have one person on it, so it's not going the fastest, but it's looking really good right now for Hubris.
And Buds on a double kill, breaks the Reinhardt shield, takes out Reinhardt, gets the immediate counter pick onto the Reaper, and now of those two quick kills, Neighbors is not able to even contest this point, as Buds picks up another. Right now, there is absolutely no answer to Buds coming out from the defense, and it's something they have to address sooner rather than later. Otherwise, Hubris is just going to roll through the rest of this map.
Yeah, and this setup right now that they have with Id on the Genji, Coolmat on the Tracer, they're just flanking forward. This is very reminiscent, almost like the double orb comps that we used to see all the time. They're playing super aggressive with these flankers, buying Buds a lot of space so he can hold down this spawn exit and make it so difficult, as literally Coolmat and Id are just running straight for the spawn, holding it open. Transistor goes down to the Tracer. I think, no, Tracer still has her bomb, so if they try and crowd out of here, they're going to really struggle as Buds in the sniper door right now. Can he find the pick? No, he's just going to back off nice and safely. Meanwhile, this payload is just rolling forward.
Yeah, and take a look at this now. ID does have the Dragon Blade. He is measuring the defense right now, looking for his opportunity to go in. As Bud's going to get another pick on to X-Free. X-Free trying to counter Widow, not having a whole lot of success. ID right now, Genji v Genji going there. Will get the slice down pick off. With those two kills, they don't even necessarily have to blow ults right now. They're going to be able to cruise this next checkpoint, and then perhaps just save the ults for the very end as ID with some big headshots on the Lucio. And there it is, the Dragon Blade underway. They spoke too soon, slicing and dicing. Winston going to get cut down. But ID might have targets here at this Dragon Blade.
Yeah, he's going to have to run around, just put it away, and just wait and basically stand by the spawn. But interesting tactics coming out here from Neighborhood Overwatch. They're trying to basically break out using Winston. There was a Diva out for a moment, just to try and force the way out of that spawn, just to give them a little bit of space to push out, because they're really just being pinned back here by the mixture of Buds, ID, and Coolmat putting that damage in. Meanwhile, Stu finding a kill on Ghost there on the Farah.
Matt able to go and take out Reinhardt, did throw a pulse bomb as part of that, and Matt just very comfortable being far in front, poking his Tracer. But here's the really important thing that's going on right now, is that the payload has been moving with 3 people pretty much this entire time. They've been taking the fight to Neighborhood, and now Neighborhood, they're moving into Winston, trying to get anything done here, but Donut under assault, going to get taken out by the Diva back of Minstrel. And chaining deaths here, this could be already it here for Hubris. I think they should have this.
It's looking really good right now, and that damage amp Diva as well on the payload is just going to make it so hard for those tanks. And there's the Turbo Steve, the self-destruct goes in. Fortunately, everyone's already dead. Trying to get the payload, and it looks like, yep, they have just about done it, I think. That was, what, a 4-minute time on Route 66? That's really damn solid.
It's a very quick time on 76. And 76 is a map that has sort of lended itself to quicker times in the past, to the point that they actually had to slow down the payload at one point, but no matter how you look at it, that was a dominant performance by Hubris. I don't think they were stopped the entire game. And you had great sniping from Buds, good Genji pressure from ID, and even Diva really making her appearance here and, stopping the Bastion play in its tracks. So really, really good stuff coming up from the side of Hubris, and Neighborhood is going to dig deep and find something that we haven't seen from them yet thus far, if they want to reverse course and stay here in the series.
Yeah, it's looking really good for Hubris right now, and it must have felt so bad as well for Neighborhood Overwatch when that Diva came rolling out, especially with the Zarya as well. Just like the perfect answer to that Bastion setup. They might have thought that, we'll surprise him, we might catch him off guard a little bit with that, but Diva just barreled right into it, cracked their defense open, and then once Genji and Tracer could just go off and keep that pressure up with Bud sniping in the back, they just could not recover, could not find their footing again, and it's going to be up to Neighborhood Overwatch to put out something special here to beat that time of 3 minutes 31 seconds.
Yeah, 3 minutes, 31 seconds. That is something that is certainly going to be difficult to beat. Looking here at the defense, we'll get a full measure of it in here in just a moment. But I would not be surprised to see Buds actually stick in here on that Roadhog pick. Roadhog is a hero that, particularly in light of One Hero Limit, has been making his appearance more and more often. Not always the most rhyme or reason as to when he gets thrown out, but I think teams are experimenting with him on different stages and different points, and oftentimes it's worked out, especially when you throw in Roadhog sort of every now and then and not as part of your standard setup, because it can catch people off guard, regardless of when you throw it in.
Yeah, I actually quite like the Roadhog pick. I think, as you said, people are experimenting with it, people are playing with it. I did see Harblu, for example, play with it and do a really good job using that very aggressively. He sort of used him as a flanker. He basically was the sneakiest Roadhog that you can imagine, and he just snuck around, found hooks where he could, and opened things up. But meanwhile, we have Hubris setting up on the defense. And we have Coolmat.
I was going to say, Hubris is definitely trolling a little bit here. They're putting people on roles they're not normally on. Buds, if in a match against Envy or C9 or a higher end team, you would never see Buds on Mercy. I think they're just sort of cutting loose a little bit here.
Yeah, I kind of don't blame them for just having a little bit of a relaxing time with this one, experimenting, trying people out for different roles, because it doesn't hurt to practice it a little bit in a tournament setting, and having a deep hero pool is very important. But meanwhile, we do have Coolmat on McCree, Custer on Zenyatta, Minstrel on May, Buds on Mercy, and ID on the Widowmaker, and Stoop on Reinhardt.
Alrighty, so looking at the offense coming out from Neighbor, it's going to be a Sub-Zero fight on the Lucio, Donut on the Genji, Ghost on Reinhardt, an offensive Junkrat coming out from Transistor, Xpree on the Winston, and Mixwiz here on an offensive Reaper. And Reaper here we're seeing a little bit more on offense in one hero limit, people sort of experimenting with him, but the more weird thing here in the offense is that there's no McCree.
Oh yeah, that is a little bit strange. McCree right now, very hotly contended. I think Jeff Kaplan recently came out and said that they're nerfing his damage a little bit, so they're going to try and rein him in a tiny bit. Here we see like the first battle be joined. Custer finds a kill immediately onto Xpree. Coolmat also picking people off, and this is just looking really devastating. So they come around this first corner, Minstrel cleaning up in the back there, and Mixwig's forced to back away.
Well, effectively, it's over before it began there. They went in and just sort of mechanically lost every fight on every level there, and just a very quick team wipe in favor of Hubris. Really everything going well for them. I will say though, the one thing that's not troll or anything from Hubris, even though Minstrel usually done Lucio, they do like running Mei on Route 66 defense. And here we go, ID getting 2 quick picks on Widowmaker, recon site already up and in progress. The ultimate charging so quickly. The offense only left with 2 people near the cart, and they are going to get taken out. As Lucio getting just absolutely crushed by that ice wall.
Fittingly, Sub-Zero fight gets killed off by Mei as it jumps up, finds the kill. Yes, no, I think he put the damage in and he just got cleaned up there. Does find a second pick, however, does take out the Junkrat, and they have to be so careful coming around this corner. This is where you normally see teams defend. They like to hold this high ground and pull this corner as hard as possible. We do see the Roadhog coming out as a swap. Can they just find a quick pick, maybe 1 or 2 kills just to open things up? But it looks like, oh no, ID finding another kill.
Yeah, ID has been absolutely on point on Widow. And here we go, Stoop coming in over the top, going to drop the hammer literally on Mixwiz. He has Earthshatter at the ready. And really, you look at the ultimates for defense in general, they are completely set up for the next fight. They might not even need all the ultimates given how they've been winning without them, but Matt right now being pretty aggressive, looking, poking on Winston. You look at the offense in general here, they're just getting picked off before they can even go in together as a team.
Yeah, exactly. They're just being pulled apart, and especially with this Widowmaker and Zenyatta combo, they're going to be so dangerous. Oh no, Xpree misses the jump, falls off the cliff, and down goes the poor scientist picked off there. Mei, meanwhile, just being such a nuisance in the back. She's controlling this tunnel space. Reaper versus Mei, but Reinhardt comes in, will clean up with 1 or 2 big swings of that hammer, and down it goes Mixwig on the Reaper. Can Neighbor Overwatch just pull something out right now? We're looking for a couple of kills just to break it open, see if they can push something off the back of it, but ID is just finding pick after pick after pick with this.
We do have a Junkrat tire on the way in, but Matt deflating it immediately, just shoots it twice, takes it out. Matt going to take out the Junkrat as well. And what we're seeing right now is sort of a constant stream in from the offense of Neighborhood, and it's not working out. They're moving in not together, going in 1 by 1. They're letting ID get pickoffs. They're running into one-on-ones in the tunnel, and in general, it's not a great look right now for the offense of Neighborhood. And while the defense of Hubris is great, this is where they really just need to step back a little bit, group up, and go together in as a team, and just stop chaining deaths.
Exactly, they need to just take a breather, calm down, relax, and then try and find an opening. Maybe, get a Reinhardt barrier up, push off the back of it, try and build up 1 or 2 ultimates, maybe set up off the back of that. But here comes the first ultimate series, and there's a Resurrect and a Transcendence going off, just keeping everyone alive. So they've been keeping those in the bank, and they're just ready to go with them the moment anything starts looking bad. So once Minstrel went down, there was a Resurrect, there was a Transcendence up, and GG is being called.
GG is being called. Time is about to fully run out if it hasn't already. And again, to explain how stopwatch works, that means that Hubris had a better overall performance on this map than Neighborhood did, and time has officially ended now. So GG's here in this first set. Hubris coming out strong. Neighborhood, you have to go back to the drawing board, but always good to see new teams participating here in the scene, especially when you have open qualifiers like this.